let's preview the week 3 game against the 49ers. And I got to tell you, and I know people are probably at this point like, Neal, you're a joke. And I get that. But I really do think we have a shot, an even better shot at beating the Niners than we did at beating the Bears. I'm more confident that we will beat the 49ers than I was about beating the Bears. And I was pretty damn confident about beating the goddamn Bears. Okay. And here's why. Injuries, my man. The 49ers are beat up. And it's like, yeah, we lost Barkley for the season. Yeah. Shep is out for 3 weeks. Got it. But you look at what we did offensively in the second half. We moved the goddamn ball in the second half with Engram, with Tate, with Slayton, with Lewis. And now that we have, Freeman's not going to get a whole lot of snaps this week, but hopefully Gallman is active and can make a difference. So I really do think that with all the injuries that the Niners have, that we have probably our best shot of the year thus far to get our first W. Dee Ford, doubtful. He's expected to miss the game. Raheem Mostert, starting running back, doubtful, isn't expected to play. Jason Verrett, questionable. Cornerback. George Kittle, tight end, questionable. I watched that George Kittle injury in week 1. It was like, ew. I've had that happen to me, and I was out for probably a few weeks. So even if he does come back, is he going to be 100%? Probably not. Nick Bosa, torn ACL, out for the year. Tevin Coleman, doubtful. Kyle Shanahan, the coach, said he's expected to miss multiple weeks. Jimmy G, Garoppolo, questionable. Shanahan said that he still has a chance to suit up against the Giants on Sunday. Even if he does, is he going to be as good as he was pre-injury? Probably not. Not that they really leaned on him that much or rely on him that much, because they're a run-first kind of team, and that's how they find their success is on the ground. But just the fact that he's not going to be as mobile, that's in our favor. Defensive end Solomon Thomas is doubtful, may have sustained an ACL injury in the win against the Jets. Richard Sherman is obviously out. That's a lot of key starters, almost 10 key starters for the Niners. If we can't take advantage of that and beat them when they're at their weakest, I don't know how, I think at that point, it's kind of like, yeah, let's just, all my confidence goes down to zero. It goes into the negative. It goes into the red. This is not the Niners team. San Francisco is not an offensive juggernaut by any means. They're not like the greatest show on turf. They rely on the run. Their rushing attack is 3rd in the league in yards per attempt. They don't turn the ball over, which is crucial, which is, Daniel Jones needs to take out his pen, open up his notebook, write it down. Turnovers. They do not fumble the ball. They lead the league in fumbles not lost. And they're 4th in total turnovers not lost. So they don't throw interceptions. They don't fumble the ball. They don't turn it over. Now that's with, Mostert and Coleman and Jimmy G. Is it the same with Nick Mullins and Jerick McKinnon? They're going to rely on Jerick McKinnon. But it's really their defense that drives the engine, that drives the ship. 6th in the league in points against, allowing 18.5 per game. They do not give up a lot of passing yards or passing touchdowns, but they do give up a lot of rushing yards. So maybe this is our opportunity to have Gallman and Lewis. And like I said, I don't know that Freeman is really going to get a whole lot of action, but let's pound the rock. This is our opportunity to get our running game back to a spot where we feel content and satisfied with what we got going on in the ground attack. Let's pound the rock. We have an opportunity now to not have to lean on Daniel so hard, to not feel like it's all on him, to not feel like he has to make a play. Hand the ball off. Let's do all these scissor action that Sean O'Hara was talking about with Jason Garrett's new offense. Let's scissor the hell out of the 49ers. Let's pound. Let's get aggressive, and let's get back to that mentality and that philosophy that Dave Gettleman wanted to instill, and that is so imperative and important for us to make the playoff push, if that's even in the cards. Run the ball, but also get creative with it. Don't just be so like, we're going to go heavy formation and go dive right, dive left. No, you got to spread it out and alter the looks a little bit there. Yeah. So I mentioned that our defense has made tremendous strides, and here's an example why. We're 4th in yards allowed. We're 5th in interceptions. we've allowed the least amount of rushing touchdowns among all NFL teams, but we have a little problem, an issue with giving up yards. 141 yards in the first game, 135 yards in this and last week. Without Coleman, without Mostert, with just Jerick McKinnon, I feel like we can hold this team to under 100 yards, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo is not 100%. I feel like we can stack the box and we can force Garoppolo or Nick Mullins to throw the ball. And I feel like with our improved secondary, with another week with Ryan more familiar, Yaida more familiar, and that whole team just having another week under their belt, I really do think that we're gonna pull out a victory. I mean, our offense is due for a nice game. We're third in turnover percentage, which is largely on Daniel Jones. We're 28th in scoring percentage, and we're 31st in red zone percentage. So that's got to change. If we really want to be, we've taken steps. We've shown a lot of fight. No one's disagreeing with that. We don't quit. We show a lot of fight. Great. But that needs to start to translate to wins. In order for that to happen, no more turnovers. And when we get in the red zone, we have to put it in the end zone. We're dead last in points scored. We're dead last in rushing. And I feel like we're going to flip the script on San Francisco this weekend. Just going back to DJ real quick. Only 12% of his throws have been bad, according to Pro Football Reference. 77 have been on target. So I don't know that you can really, I don't know how you look at Daniel Jones. You watch him play every game, and you look at him and you see some of the stats he's putting up, and you say to yourself, yeah, tank for Trevor Lawrence. I don't know how you do that. I really don't. It makes me think that, how there are these like bots on Twitter that are trying to like misinform and try, like, especially with the NBA, they have like these bots that are set up and tweet out these like automated messages about in response to Black Lives Matter and what NBA is doing with Black Lives Matter, and saying like, I've been a season ticket holder since 1979, and yet like it's for a team that's only been in existence for the past 10 years, like the Grizzlies or something. So it's fake, but like it, you read it and it's so assertive and aggressive that you're like, whoa. And so that's meant to like scare people, but people are keen to it and are onto it. And it's not 2016 anymore. It's 2020. I feel like that's happening with Daniel Jones. These people, these are just bots on Twitter that are set up by Cowboys fans or Jets fans or Eagles fans, like someone who's got a grudge against the New York Football Giants and is spouting all this misinformation and disrupting what are the positive good vibes we have about DJ. Tank for Trevor Lawrence. What the actual F? I will say this though. Jones has a 39.6 QB rating when throwing to Damian Ratley. Again, hard to kind of see what the coaching staff has seen in Ratley to make them think that he was an upgrade or better choice than Corey Coleman so far. And Jones has a 27.5 rating when throwing to Evan Engram. That has got to change. I mean, Ratley's Ratley. I don't even know if he's going to end up like finishing the year with us, but it's a crime. It's a felony. It's a misdemeanor to have that low rating when throwing to Evan Engram. And that, to me, Jason Garrett needs to get, and Freddie Kitchens need to get in a room with Evan Engram and say, hey, man, what do you like? What don't you like? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you feel like you like? What can we do for you to make this game easier so that we can get the best out of you? Jones also has an 8% drop percentage, which is, it's not low. I know 8% sounds low, but it's not. It's not low. And I'll finish by saying that the 49ers are favored by 4. All those injuries, they're favored by 4? Hammer the Giants, at least hammer the Giants against the spread. But I'm confident you can take the money line and win some bills, y'all.